Hey guys, it's Julia, and today I'm going to be doing my March wrap-up video. So I know this is late. I was supposed to post a video yesterday, but things are just so crazy and trying to get back into the swing of things after moving. And then right after we finally started to get settled in, we've got Bookie Box shipping week, so it's just been crazy. You know, I have trouble posting videos on shipping week, but yeah, I'm doing it now, so here it is. To get right into this video, let's see, what is new lately? Not a lot. I did manage to read 3 books this month, which is a lot considering 3 weeks in, I'd only read 1 book, so I actually made it to 3, which is surprising. One of those was a graphic novel, but I still count it because a graphic novel is still a book. So yeah, here we go. We're just gonna get right into it, like I said 5 seconds ago. Anyway, so the first book I read was The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I did not like this book. I said it in my last video when I did my book haul for March, and it just was not my thing. It just did not grind well with me. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it didn't mesh well with me. It was just very all over the place. I didn't feel like the story was very, like, it didn't flow very well. It just was like really random. I don't know, it just didn't really toot my horn. I don't know where I'm going with these things that I'm saying today, but anyway, so I just feel like this book was boring. The whole beginning of the story, I was like, what? No, I take that back. The whole beginning of the story, I actually was like, okay, I like where this is going. It's about this girl whose grandma writes this book of fairy tales, and nobody can actually find the actual book. Like, they're really rare, really expensive if you can actually find them, and the stories aren't anywhere online. They're really mysterious, and then the main character's grandma dies and her mom disappears, and she has to kind of go on this mission to the Hazelwood to kind of figure out where her mom is. So I don't know, it sounded really interesting to me when I first heard about it, but then after reading it, I'm just really disappointed. I don't know if it was just because it was a really hyped book or not, but I didn't care for it. So I feel like that is mainly why I only got to read 3 books, because after reading it, I was like, why? Why me? Why? Why did this happen to me? Why was this the first book I read this month and just feel like I don't want to pick up another book for a good 2 weeks? So that is what happened with that, and I'm very disappointed in it, but yeah. If you have thoughts on that book, I would love to hear them. I wonder if anybody has the same feelings I do towards that book, because I did not like it. I think I gave it a 2-star rating. Anyway, so the next book I read was Saga Volume 8, and of course I loved this book. I love this entire series, so this is like a no-brainer for me. The series just continues to be amazing and never cease to amaze me how good it is, and the artwork in this is phenomenal. It's like my favorite thing to read in the whole wide world. Every time one comes out, I just have to get it immediately because I love them, and I actually think I'm going to reread them because I love them that much. The next book I don't actually have a physical copy of. As you guys know, I have been trying to read a lot more adult fiction, and I have been having trouble finding any that I'm really interested in. I have been reading a lot where I read like halfway through them and then I'm throw them aside because I just can't get into them. I've had this friend since high school who is an avid reader, and she's like my only friend that reads like I do, and she recommended that I try a couple adult romance books because I do really like romance. Every book that I really enjoy has a really strong romance subplot, and so I've never really actually read like a romance-focused book per se. So I decided to go ahead and pick up one of the books that she recommended. So I ended up picking up Loving Mr. Daniels, which I'm gonna put a picture here because I don't actually have the book because I listened to it on audiobook. And guys, let me just tell you, this book was amazing. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because I just loved every part of this book. The writing was amazing, the story was good, and every single time I thought that something was gonna happen, it didn't happen the way I thought it was. Obviously, if you've watched my videos, you know that like I don't like reading books where I can guess what happens, nor does a lot of people, but in YA there continues to be the same things over and over again, and so you can always guess what's happening, which is why I've kind of been gravitating towards adult books. So I read this book and it just blew me away. It is a story about a girl who ends up falling for this guy who ends up being her English teacher. She doesn't know until after they have already gone on a date, and she starts her new school, and there's her English teacher, who is actually Daniel Daniels, who is also Mr. Daniels. So obviously that is a story that has been done before, but the way that the author portrays it, and it seems like that's going to be the focus of the story, but it is, but it isn't, if that makes sense. There are a lot of awesome subplots in this story. There are some really amazing friendships that really just make the story. The guy isn't your typical asshole guy who treats her awful. Obviously, he has his flaws, which is good because everybody has their flaws, but he is still like a really awesome guy, and you can totally tell why she falls in love with him. And there is a gay character in the story who I just adored. He was just so amazing, and his story is so amazing too that it just really, I loved it. The friendships, the romance, every part of this, the parenting aspects of the story, they're all really amazing, and I highly, highly, highly recommend reading this book, especially if you're someone who likes romance, because it was really good. There were some steamy parts, not too steamy that it was like a porno, but steamy enough that if you're an adult person, you will enjoy that part of it. Anyway, so those are the 3 books that I read this month. I didn't have the best reading month, not the best reading month that I've ever had, but it wasn't as bad as last month, so I'm happy with it. I did start Obsidio, but I only got like a chapter in. I haven't really been focusing on it. My mind hasn't really been there, so I decided just to put it aside for now until my mind is there, because it is one that I'm really excited for. And I don't want my jumbled up mind to get in the way of me enjoying that story, so I am putting it aside for now, but I am going to pick it up here again soon. So, in other news, that is really it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe if you're not already. And as always, I would love to hear what books you read this month, and if you read any of the same books that I did, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!